Okay, it's been a couple of days, and I have gone through now the right front axle is all good. Had to change a bearing, that was recorded mostly while I was at it, and I was trying to figure out what to do about my bad CV joint on the front left, because the part that I need is no longer available by Mercedes. And my friends at Expedition Imports confirmed that there are none available. So I was trying to figure out what to do about these. During that time, I went ahead and went through the rear brakes, make sure they're all freed up. They were all seized. So all the hinge pins on the brake shoes were seized in place. So that's what you get for running around in deep water and then not drying it out before putting it in the barn. So anyway, those are all freed up, anti-seized all over the place. Waiting for, I broke a circlip, so I got a circlip kit coming. Then that'll be all done, the rears are done. Now I called Expedition Imports again, my friends in Vallejo, and because they still show one of those kits for the CV joint on their website. So I called him and said, by any chance, do you have that? And he said, oh yeah, look at that. I've got two on the shelf. So we confirmed that it is for this vehicle. And of course, I didn't want to tear into this until I actually have the parts in hand. Now, we have parts in hand. And this is what they look like. So this is it's like a U-joint. It's got the caps and the bearings. And then, so the axle stub from the wheel comes in here. The cross shaft, pair of bearings there. That's the cross shaft. And then this goes into the steering, or the rest of that CV joint. So we'll see that in a few minutes. I'm gonna get this out. Now, I'm working on getting the parts, liberating this wheel hub, which is, of course, not cooperating as they do. So on the other side, I was able to wiggle out this top spherical bearing. The bottom one I had to use all the pullers I have to figure out. I finally got it off, got it freed up, got it back in. This one, the bottom one fell off. The top one, I cannot budget. So we're gonna try. Now I know I've got, there is enough room to pull this out and off of this kingpin. This kingpin is in this axle tube flange. So we're gonna lift it out and up off of that pin. Hopefully, if it's not frozen up, shouldn't be, it's got grease in it. Ordinarily, there isn't enough room to really do that because this CV joint is held in here and in the axle tube, and there isn't enough room for that to come up with that bearing on. But I got no bearings in here, so it's floppy moppy in there. So hopefully, fingers crossed again, we'll be able to lift that out of there and pull it off of the pin with the bearing in place. So I'm gonna just leave the camera running here, and I apologize in advance for the language that may ensue, but we'll try to be nice. Okay, here goes. All right, here goes. We're gonna come along here. Hopefully that will be enough uplift. Try a little pry bar action. Looks like progress. Bigger pry bar. Nope. Pry bar. Up. Nope. Little tool. Let's hold it. All the confidence in the world in that. Okay. Spring hanger's almost in the way, but not. Got it. Put this camera so you can see what's happening here. So we were able to pull that flange off of this bearing, so it's still stuck on the kingpin. That's not how I expected that to go, but here we are. Bottom one's loose. We're going to drop this down a little bit so that I'm not pinning the axle and that seal in there. And then I'm going to slide this puppy out. Watch this. Hold my beer. Okay, let's try that. Go. See, the axle's loose in the housing. All good. All good. Ooh. So this is the short axle side. Long spline. There we go. We are free. All right, and there is that left wheel end. And see that on camera, but that and that should move together. Like these two, see those move together? These two, that bearing's gone, that bearing's gone. So that whole piece, that bearing out, those shafts I'm sure are, as they say in the UK, knackered. So now the fun begins to tear this thing apart, and about to run out of time for today, but we'll turn to this on Monday. All right, till next time. Thanks for watching. Just kidding. I got like 5 more minutes. And so, I'm splitting the case. I got all these bolts out. Broke one. Looking forward to that. But I took a punch, piece of round stock, and just whacked it once on one of these flat spots where the case is opposing, where there's a split, and it moved. It's a miracle. Maybe not a miracle, but it's good. You see that split growing? That's good news. Real good news. That means I'm gonna get this thing apart. Maybe today. Maybe.
Now, those bearings are pressed in there. And now I'm almost out of time. Roll it over and do the same thing over here. Not left-handed, so I could probably hurt myself. Yeah. Coming. Coming apart. You have to hold one side open, otherwise it just does that. Big chisel. My 5 minutes is up. All right, till next time. All right, so here we go. We're gonna pull this, this hub apart. I have a plan now. So the problem is this input bearing on the outboard side of the axle shaft, input side of the axle shaft is stuck in this lower housing. So I need to come up with a puller to pull this top section off. Everything else is loose, but that bearing is stuck. So I've got some jam nuts here just because they're skinny. I pulled this a little bit. I can probably start to get some bigger nuts in there or some heavier plate. So I'm not sure where this is going to go yet, but let's see if this thing pops out of place and start wrenching on it. So basically I've got a nut in the bottom. The bolt is long enough. There's threads in the bolt so that when this head gets all the way to the surface, there's still threads there. So I can bring this head all the way down and hopefully that's enough to pop it free. I can tell that it's moving, so that's a good sign. I'm just gonna walk around and read both sides, so the other side's loosened up. Usually I hit one side, the other side tightens, so this is all good news. I think it's gonna pop free. And then we have some cleanup work to do. This is a mess. It's almost all the way on already. I could use an air driver or something, but I want to be able to feel what's happening. Especially if this thing goes flying off of its perch here. It is working its way out. So if these bolts aren't long enough, I can put longer, thicker shims in there. I've got some thicker shims here. Basically, these bolts are pushing on the other half of the case through this little shim here. And I think we're almost through with this bolt. And I can pull them out. Yeah, that's done. These are done. And I don't know damaging this seal. By basically the yoke is pushing against the case. The seal is right there. I don't know if that's getting damaged or not, so we'll have to see. Line these out. There's a thicker shim, that's about a 1/4 inch. Tool for this, but this cost me, those nuts were 86 cents a piece, so hey, my $3.50 puller. Ish. It's coming. At some point, I could just pull this in. No, I can see the bearing. It's almost there. I'll just go ahead and pull it the rest of the way. Because, why? Because we can. And looks like this is coming really easy, but man, that thing was stuck, and I was tired of beating on it with a hammer. Feeling like it was going nowhere. Okay, that nut's down. Alright, I think we gotta be close. Okay, we just got another 1/4 inch on it. Stay. Nope. I don't want to. Alright, I think we're coming out of there. Pop it now. There it is. There's my shims. They're in good shape. More shims. All right. That bearing looks good. That bearing might not be good. It's coming apart. So I'll do some assessment here, but the big work here is on this U-joint set. So that is some cleanup work. So there's that step. And get these nuts out of here. All right, so clean this up, and we'll be back at another step.
Okay, we got the next step set up. Fortunately, this gear is a little bit looser than on the other side. I could actually move it. So I was able to get these into a position where I could wedge them in. So those are my gear pullers. And yeah, we're gonna just pull that puppy right off. And then figure out what we need to do about the bearing. So this guy slides in there. And then we get your puller stem. And I need, what it is. That should come right off. Tighter than I thought. The splines are worn a little bit. Okay. Nice gear. Bearing's got to come off too. This is going to be fun to press back on. Yep, I can see that coming. Okay, there's some nutty gear. And let's see what it's going to take to pull this bearing off. It's not going to work. We're going to try a different kind of puller. It's going to do this. I'm not positive I have the right puller for this. This is an old puller I've had for a long time. And it's not going to be big enough. I get to buy a new puller today. Yay! Unless I can pry that puppy off of there. Possible. Let's try that. So we'll need a couple of pry bars. This will be fun. Let's see that O-ring's getting angled. Alright. We're gonna have to do some more setup here. It's gonna take a few minutes. Camera off, go from there.